Welcome to Gracefully Growing, the podcast that helps you thrive in life. During and after high school, I am Dr. Kemi, educator, author, speaker, and gratitude advocate. I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me as we explore what I call the 5 key principles that will guide you to a fulfilling life. And what are those 5 key principles, you say? I said they are gratitude, reflection, affirmation, connection, and empathy. So let me tell you a little bit about the podcast. This podcast is based on my book, Living with Grace, Your Guide to Thriving in Life After High School. Now, even though I wrote this book for people in high school, you will come to find out that these 5 principles apply to just about anyone. 2 things that we know are constant are people will people and life will life, right? Now, how you navigate these 2 constants are up to you. So, over the next few months, we're going to dive into each of these grace principles and discover how they help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of life right now, and of course, beyond. So let's review the 5 principles of grace. We're going to start with gratitude. Gratitude just means focusing on my focus. I got this from my sister. My sister would always say, sis, we're just going to focus on our focus, right? It's looking at your situation and choosing to be positive about it. Gratitude is about recognizing the good in your life, even when things are not perfect. Gratitude is not what we call toxic positivity. Gratitude just means you're taking a moment to appreciate the small things, such as a kind word from somebody, a smile from someone, or even looking at the big things, such as having a roof over your head. You flip on the light switch and the light come on, or there is food on the table. Even if it is not the food that you wanted to eat, there is food on the table, if that makes sense. So, gratitude is just recognizing things that are going good in your life and just taking a moment to pause to look at your life or to look at the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And when you choose to focus on all the things that are going well for you, all other things become insignificant in comparison. So maybe, for example, you didn't do well on a test, right? You can reflect on it and see how you could do better or what you can do, but focus on not the fact that you failed the test, although we don't want you to fail the test, but I don't want you to focus on the fact that you failed the test. I want you to focus on the fact that you could talk to your teacher and see if you could retake the test. And that's gratitude. Okay. So the second one is reflection. For reflection, I say that is taking responsibility for your piece of the mess. We call this accountability. Reflection is the act of looking back at your experiences to learn from them. And this is more than thinking about what happened. It's about gaining some insight on what worked, what didn't, and how you can move forward with greater clarity. I look at reflection like this. Maybe you had a misunderstanding with a friend, or something happened that didn't quite go your way. I want you to pause and I want you to think about the part you played and not what the other person did or what the other person said. What was your reaction? Take accountability for that part. right? That is your reflection. And then figure out a way not to get yourself in that predicament any longer. So the third tenant, while I'm holding up four fingers, the third tenant is affirmations. Mm. Affirmations is simply positive self talk. Affirmations are positive. You state them in the present tense to help you believe in your abilities as well as your potential. The way affirmations work, if you do them well enough, affirmations kind of help you to reprogram your brain and your subconscious so that you're focusing on your strength rather than on your weaknesses. So I'll tell you a little story. Remember my 12-and-a-half-year-old Sunshine? Well, when he was about 4, and it was the second week of pre-K. So he asked me when he got home. I picked him up from school, and he said, "Mommy, do you know what self-talk is?" I said, "Self-talk?" He said, "Yes, self-talk. Have you ever heard of it?" Now, you know what self-talk is, right? But I pretended that I didn't know what self-talk is. So I said to him, I said, "Tell me what self-talk is." And that's when he said to me, "Well, self-talk is what you tell yourself in your brain." And so I proceeded to ask my then 4-year-old, because he was 4 at the time, "So what do you tell yourself in your brain?" Then he proceeded to tell me about all his words of affirmation. So we started him on words of affirmation when he was 2. As he started to repeat his words of affirmation, "I am intelligent. I am awesome. I am amazing. I am phenomenal." I know, phenomenal for a 2-year-old. I know, I know, I know. And he told us he was courageous and he was kind and all these things, right? That is affirmations. That is positive self talk. That is you replacing the words in your brain that tells you you can't do something, replace it with "I can't do it yet." Yet. Put the yet on the back of it. So then that gives your brain and your subconscious the opportunity to say, "You know what? We're going to learn how to do that thing that we can't do yet." And we'll talk some more about this in future episodes. Now, your fourth principle is connections. Connections simply mean is about networking. Who's your who? Who's in your corner? Who's helping you to achieve your goal? Who can you talk to? Who can give you good advice about any and everything? Who's in your circle of friendship that can support your goals, your dreams, your aspirations? Relationships are crucial for personal and professional growth. Whether these people are family members, whether these people are friends, they're mentors, the people you connect that can support you, they can challenge you, they can tell you about yourself and when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? And they help you grow. Don't forget your teachers. It always amazes me when young people don't think about their teachers as part of their networking group. So I'll tell you a story. When I was a teacher, I taught science for 13 years at a local high school. And I had a student who wanted to go to the school I attended. I attended Spelman College. And she told me, she said, "I want to attend Spelman College." I said, "Okay, whenever you're ready, let me know. I'll be happy to write you a letter of recommendation." So when it was time, I did write her the letter of recommendation and she got accepted into Spelman College. Yay! Then about a year into Spelman, she reached out to me via email and she said, "Hey, Miss Abdul Qadir, that's my name at the time. She said, "Hey, Miss Abdul Qadir, I need a job. Do you know anyone that I could talk to on Spelman's campus that could give me a job?" So I said, "Yeah, I do." So I reached out to one of my former professors via email, and I said, "Hey, doctor," I can't remember his name right now. I sent him an email. I said, "One of my former students is a current student at Spelman College, and she needs a job." Guess what? He hired her. That's what I'm talking about. Connections. Your teachers know people. They're members of your community. They should be a part of your network. So don't leave them out, okay? Finally, let's talk about empathy. Empathy simply is your ability to understand and share the feelings of others. And how does empathy start? It starts with listening, not just to hear words, but truly to understand the message behind the words. Empathy means you're listening not just to respond, you are listening to understand somebody else's perspective. You don't have to agree with their perspective. Listen, not to judge. Listen to understand. So we're going to be going deeper into each of these. I'm going to be providing you with tips on how to build your grace muscles. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to call them. So before we get started on this journey together, I want to encourage you to grab a journal. If you don't have a journal, I actually wrote a really great one. The link to my journal is going to be posted below. Or for now, you can just open your phone's notes app. As we go through each of these episodes, I'm going to be sharing ideas, I'm going to be sharing tips, I'm going to be sharing reflection prompts. And I want you to be able to take a moment to jot down your thoughts or any goals you have for your personal as well as your professional growth. Listen, y'all, I am so excited for our growth together. This has been Gracefully Growing with Dr. Kimmy. I encourage you to have a peace-filled, joyful, and loving day, and I will see you the next episode. Have you ever had a day where everything seems to go wrong? It doesn't matter what you do, everything is just going wrong. And let me tell you something, it is so easy to focus on the negative, right? But what if I told you that you have the power to shift your mindset with something as simple as gratitude? We're going to be talking about the power of gratitude. So, I'm a Yoruba person from Nigeria, and gratitude is a way of being for us. We literally express gratitude for everything every single day. We are raised to express gratitude in the moment of a kind art, of a kind act, right? I remember when I was growing up, if somebody gave me something, like money, a gift, I would say thank you. My mom would prompt us to say thank you when we were much younger. And then the next day, my mom would make us call and say thank you for the gift from yesterday. And then if we saw that individual in a week's time, we would still be saying, oh, thank you for last week. If we saw them in a month's time, we would still say thank you for last month, right? So gratitude, it was a way of being for us. And let me tell you something. My sunshine, he has mastered this art of expressing gratitude. Like this boy has this thing down to a T. I raised them. I raised them. So In 2023, we got him an iPad. He's like, that was the only thing he wanted in the whole wide world. He wanted the iPad. I mean, down to this little specification. This boy was specific on what he wanted in this iPad, right? And dad and I came together, my husband and I, and we got him the iPad. Do you know, even as of last week, this young man still said, Mom, I'm so grateful that you got me this iPad because I still can't believe that you guys got me this iPad. Gratitude. It's about recognizing the good in your life, even when things are not quite going the way you want them to go. It's about taking a moment to breathe. It's about seeing your glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And gratitude, like I've already explained to you, it can be as simple as you just simply saying thank you to someone. Is as simple as recognizing a kind word from a friend. Is as simple as recognizing that somebody smiled at you today. Is as simple as being grateful that you were able to get out of bed today, right? All the way down to the big things, such as, like I mentioned on the last episode, your Christmas gifts that you received from your parents, food on the table, school that you go to. Do you know that education is still a privilege in some countries? Being grateful that you live in a country where education is a right, is your right as a child, and not a privilege as it is in some countries in the world today. Um, in my country, Nigeria, some parts of Nigeria, kids are still not being allowed to go to school. So education is a privilege, and it is something that I'm going to encourage you to be grateful for. Okay? You may not like the school that you're in. You may not even like some of your teachers. I didn't like some of my teachers when I was in school. But let me tell you why I'm grateful for those teachers that I did not like while I was in school. What those teachers taught me, what is this? When I decided to become a teacher, I knew I knew what kind of teacher I did not want to be. I didn't know what kind of teacher I wanted to be, right? But I knew what kind of teacher I did not want to be. Why? Because I had experiences with teachers for whatever reason that I didn't like them. It was nothing to do with them, really, or maybe it did. I don't know. So, gratitude is about focusing on what is truly, truly going right for you. You have food, you have shelter, you have clothes to wear. May not be the kinds of clothes that you want to wear, you have clothes to wear. It's focusing on what's going right. It's noticing and valuing the things in your life that are positive. Don't dwell on the negative stuff. Acknowledge that they're there, but don't stay there. It is a powerful feeling of thankfulness and recognition for what you have. And what this does for you, it is helps to shift your focus from what is missing to what is present and what is positive. It's like a superpower. Gratitude is like a superpower that helps you to navigate the ups and downs of life with a positive outlook and strong sense of support. Remember that goal that I told you to write down? That goal. We're going to learn how to give gratitude for all the people along the journey towards that goal. Okay? Because on your journey to that goal, there are going to be pitfalls. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is to focus on what is going right as you head towards that goal. So by embracing gratitude, you are setting yourself up for a more fulfilling and successful life experience now and in the future. So let me ask you a question. Like my sunshine um, does from time to time, he will look at me and say, Mom, I'm so thankful that you're my mom. Have you ever done that for your parents? Have you ever gone to your parent and said, Mom, Dad, Grandma, whomever you live with, Auntie, I'm so thankful that you're in my life. I'm so thankful that you're keeping a roof over my head. I'm so thankful that you're able to afford food for us to eat. I'm so thankful that you're able to pay the light bills. Can you imagine how that would lift their spirit? Let's go beyond your parents. Let's talk about, or your parents or your guardians. Let's talk about your teachers at school or people in your community. But because I used to be a teacher, I'm going to focus on teaching. Why? Because I remember in my third year as a science teacher, I'll never forget this. A student wrote me a note expressing gratitude for to me for all the things that I was teaching them, how I was teaching, and the whole positive aspect of my classroom. Yeah, do you know that I still have that note? As a matter of fact, I took a picture of it. It's somewhere in my phone. And from time to time, I go to that note. Now, I'm no longer a classroom teacher, but that note lifted my spirit, and it made me want to be a better teacher, and it made me want to do better for my students. Could you imagine if you wrote such a note to one of your teachers, acknowledging that they're doing their best, the same way that you're acknowledging that your parents are doing their best, right? Acknowledging that you're thankful that they chose to come to work every day and teach you. Forget about the fact that that's their job. Forget about the fact that that's their job. Show gratitude that they're there. Can you imagine how that would lift your teacher's spirit? Try it. Just try it. Write a little note. Dear Miss Williams, thank you so much for being my math teacher. I make my son at the end of each year write a thank you note to his teachers, and they always appreciate it. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. Write a note to one of your teachers, one that has supported you, one that you feel connected to. I promise you, it will totally lift their spirit, okay? But let me say this. Why is gratitude important? Because you're like, lady, you're a gratitude coach. What's that all about? Why is gratitude important? I'm going to give you 6 reasons why gratitude is so important for you and for me as well, because I'm talking to myself. Practicing gratitude helps you to focus on everything positive that is happening in your life. It makes it easier for you to manage stress and adapt to new situations. Okay. Practicing gratitude is like having a mental toolkit that keeps your spirit high whenever things are going rough. Okay. Or when things get challenging. So that's the reason number 1. Reason number 2 for why gratitude is important: it helps you to maintain your resiliency because it keeps your attention on the positive and the supportive people and opportunities around you. It is a reminder that even in tough times, there is always something good to appreciate. So, number 2. Number 3, the practice of gratitude improves your overall well being. Research has shown that when you practice gratitude, it's linked to better mental health because you're regularly acknowledging what you are thankful for. And that reduces your feelings of anxiety and depression. Okay? Gratitude helps you to strengthen relationships. Think about showing gratitude to your teachers. It allows you to strengthen that relationship. Your professors in college, some of you are going to go to college. Your colleagues at work, your friends, your parents, your mentors. It allows you to grow stronger relationships with them because it's showing them that you value them. You value their support. You value their care. And what ends up happening is that creates a positive and supportive network around you. We're going to talk about networking in later episodes. When you appreciate the opportunities and resources that are available to you, it fuels your motivation to make the most of them, because gratitude helps you to stay focused on your goals and you take advantage of your life experiences. Finally, gratitude encourages you to see challenges as opportunities for growth. We call something failing forward. It means we're not telling you don't fail. If you do fail at something, you're going to acknowledge that you failed at that thing. You're going to reflect upon what went right and what did go wrong. And then you fix it so you don't repeat the same mistakes, right? Because doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, what do we call that? That is called insanity. So we don't want you to do that. I want you to express gratitude. You want to make gratitude a daily practice. So, one of the things that I'm going to be teaching you over the next few weeks into months is how do you make gratitude a daily practice to where eventually it becomes so innate that you just do it without even thinking about it. All right. Gratitude does not have to be elaborate, and I'm going to show you how, okay? It could be something small, like what I'm encouraging you to do. Kind words to your parents, kind words to people around you, kind words to your teachers, kind words to your neighbors, right? So, I am going to challenge you today. Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to challenge you today. I want you to start a gratitude practice today. Each morning, or evening. I do mine in the evening because in the morning I'm moving, right? I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Don't think too deep about it. It could just be number 1. I'm grateful that I had pizza for lunch or dinner today. It could be something that simple. And if you can't find 3 things, write down 1 thing that you're grateful for each day and then increase it every day. Or so either write down the 1 thing you're grateful for, or write your parent or teacher a gratitude note. Do you guys think that you could do that for me? I'm going to ask next week, and I'm going to ask you who is in your environment that is your support system that we can express gratitude to, because these are the people that are going to help us on our journey towards meeting our goal. Okay? So remember, gratitude just doesn't improve your mood. It helps you to focus on what's positive, right? It helps you to stay resilient. Gratitude improves your well being. Gratitude improves your mental state. Gratitude allows you to appreciate your resources so you can take better advantage of them. It can help you to find opportunities even in tough times. So, we're going to start today. Your action for today is either write down 3 things you're grateful for. And I want you to do this practice every day until the next time we see each other, which is next week. Or Write a note of gratitude to your teacher or to your parent. Or if you're feeling super honor student, to both. If I had $1 for every time students engaged in a disagreement that led to a fight, I would have a lot of money in the bank right now. It is often as a result of these young people not making the time to stop and reflect or think through the impact of their actions, not on themselves, not only on themselves, but all the people around them, right? How often do you take the time to reflect on your actions, your feelings, and your choices? Welcome to Gracefully Growing, the podcast that helps you thrive in life during and after high school. Last week's episode, I talked about the power of gratitude and why gratitude is important and why it's important for us to continue to practice gratitude daily. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about reflection, especially self reflection. But first, let me tell you what self reflection is or what reflection is. Reflection is simply an act of looking back at your experiences to learn from them. Simple. I have a principal who used to say, take accountability for your piece of the mess. So it's more than just thinking about what happened, it's about gaining insight into what worked, what didn't. How can you move forward with greater clarity? Reflection is the process of thinking deeply about your experiences, actions, as well as your thoughts. It involves taking the time to pause, look back on what you've done, consider the outcomes, and understand the lessons learned. Reflection is a powerful tool that you can use to gain insight into your strengths, your weaknesses, as well as areas for improvement. If we're going to grow, reflection is a vital tool that is necessary for your growth and academic success. By taking the time to reflect, you are empowering yourself into making informed decisions. So we're no longer leading by our emotions, we're making informed decisions. It is taking accountability for yourself, your actions, and you are owning those actions. In Nigeria, we say you own it with your full chest. You're owning your action. Whether those actions are good or whether they are bad, you are owning your actions. So, why is reflection so important? Why is this something that Dr. Kemi has decided that we're going to talk about today? I'm so glad you asked. Reflections allows you to become self-aware. It allows you to become more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. Because when you examine these things, you gain a better understanding of who you are, what you value, and what is essential for your personal growth. Reflection allows you to learn from your experience. You identify what has worked and what did not work in various situations. And now, what this does for you, it allows you to learn from those experiences and you avoid making the same mistakes over and you build on your success. Reflection allows you to build resilience. It encourages you to view challenges as opportunities for growth. Because when you sit down and take a look at where you went wrong, you then have the opportunity to develop strategies to overcome these obstacles, thereby building your resilience muscle. Reflection allows you to look at your goals. Yes, when you set goals and you're not taking a moment to go back and reflect on how you were doing, It doesn't allow you to move forward. Okay? So you reflect on how you are doing, what you have been able to accomplish so far. Recognize areas for improvement. Think about, okay, who can I ask to help me on the way on this journey to really to meeting my goals? It then allows you to create a clearer vision for your future. Finally, reflection allows you to enhance relationships. It allows you to consider your interactions with everybody and how that has affected your relationships. In that way, you're then able to better communicate to people what you need and how they can better support you. For these 5 reasons, reflection is important, especially self-reflection. So when I was an assistant principal, students would get into fights over things that they could talk about. For example, I've had students being brought to me because they got in a fight. Student A told student B that student C has posted on social media, most especially Instagram, that they want to fight. Then student B goes to student C and says, I heard you said you want to fight me. They start arguing. They get in a big fight that A disrupts the entire school day, right? By the time they come to me, then I have to follow the policy and procedure by suspending them for however many days. Now, seem to think that administrators love to suspend children. No, we don't. We did not become administrators or educators to suspend children. We want you in school. However, when you make the choice, hear me when I say this, when you make the choice to engage in a fight, simply because somebody said something about you, then you tie our hands. We don't have a choice. We have to follow the policies and procedures. So here's my thing. Whenever these students are brought to me, I always ask them, so was it worth it? Was the fight worth it? Worth you being suspended from school? Was this fight worth you not having to do makeup work? Who's worth you losing your time in school for? Who? Understand this. You are responsible for your behavior. You are responsible for your reactions. You are responsible for your actions. And I always tell young people, you can only control you. You can't control anybody else. You can't control what they say about you. Because listen, this doesn't stop in middle school. It doesn't stop in high school. It doesn't stop in college. Humans are always going to be humans. How you react to what they say and what they do, that is where your true power lies. Let me wear my glasses properly so you can hear me. How you react to what people say about you or do, that's where your true power lies. That's where your true power is. So when people bring you nonsense and they bring you foolishness that might lead to a consequence, such as you being suspended from school, having to now come back after so many days of suspension, now you got to catch up. Like, who's worth that? Who really, truly, honestly is worth that? And then you're doing all of this stuff Consider if that person is worth it. Consider if they're worth you losing your place on your basketball team, on your baseball team, on your football team, on cheerleading team. You might be an honor student, disappointing your parents, disappointing your teachers, disappointing your community. Who has that much power over you? Because when you react this way and you get in a fight, you are giving somebody else power over you. Who is worth having that much power over you? If they're not worth it, then whatever student A has come to tell you about student C, consider it noise. And keep your eyes on your goal. Remember that goal you wrote down? Yes, that goal. Keep your eye on that goal. Keep your eye on that goal. So I wanted to take a moment now to think about a recent situation. It could be an event. It could be a conversation that you had with somebody that didn't quite go well, or a decision that you made. Or did you get in an argument with somebody? How can you take responsibility for your actions in that situation? What could you have done better or not done, right? Or did you fail a test? That's always my favorite one, because you see, when I was a teacher, students are always so excited when they get an A or a B. If they make or a C, if a student gets an F, it's always the teacher gave me an F. Why is it that we earned A's, B's, and C's, but then somebody gave you an F? Baby, take advantage, take accountability. No one gives you an F. If you get an F on a test, you earned that F. So here's what I want you to do. Think about, did you study for that test? When did you start studying for that test? How did you study for that test? These are all the questions. These are self-reflective questions, right? All of these will help you to do better next time. So it will no longer be about what the teacher gave you. Because if you are taking accountability for your piece of the mess, which is maybe you didn't study, which is maybe you didn't pay attention in class, that way it's easier for you to now go back and say, okay, you know what? This on me. This is on me. This one is on me. I'm going to take my L, but then I'm going to do better. Okay? I'm going to do better. Is your focus on the right stuff? Or you focused on what someone is going to say about you, or what they're already saying about you? Because these are the things that will cause you to take your eyes off your goal. In any situation that you find yourself now and in the future, always ask yourself these questions. What did I learn from this? How can I do better next time? In conclusion, I want you to start making reflection, self-reflection, a daily practice. Even when you pass a test, stop and reflect. What did I do? What did I do different on this test? How can I replicate this success? Reflection is a daily, continuous practice. And when you do reflection as a daily, continuous practice, guess what's going to come out of that? Gratitude. Gratitude is what's going to come out of that. Okay? Growth is what's going to come out of that. So I'm going to leave you with that little short piece. Keep reflecting, and encourage you to keep reflecting. It's one of the best tools to help you achieve your goal. Until next time. So let me ask you a question. I have a question for you today. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said to yourself, I can do this, even when you feel like you can't, but then you're telling yourself, I can do this? I look in the mirror and I tell myself, you are black girl magic. You are smart. You are intelligent, and you can do anything that you set your heart to, right? So these are affirmations. So, what are affirmations? Affirmations are essentially powerful, positive statements that can help you reshape your mindset. And what that does, it ends up helping you to build your confidence. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that help you believe in your abilities and your potential. The way they work is they help you reprogram your subconscious mind so that you're focusing on your strength rather than your weaknesses. So we call this positive self-talk. This is the type of conversations you should be having with yourself in your brain. Affirmations help you to boost your confidence. Remember, I told you I have a 12-and-a-half-year-old son. You cannot shake my son's confidence. Why? Because he has been speaking words of affirmations since he could speak. And we started with simple sentences for him. Affirmations help you to focus on your abilities and your strength, like I stated earlier. Because what you do is when you're consistently telling yourself that you are capable and worthy, you reinforce a belief in yourself that boosts your confidence. So try it. When you feel yourself getting tired or discouraged, is to affirm yourself. Affirmations allow you to shift your mindset. When you say positive affirmations to yourself, it encourages you to adopt a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. And we're going to cover the difference between the two in the future. This mindset allows you to view challenges as opportunities to learn and to grow rather than obstacles. So just because something is not working right now does not mean it's never going to work, right? So a growth mindset encourages you to look at the challenges as an opportunity for you to learn and to grow. Whenever I have faced a challenge, I always think to myself, okay, Kemi, what are you learning from this challenge? So that you never have to be in this position again. This shift in perspective also helps to increase your confidence in facing new and difficult situations. Affirmations encourage you to take action. When you affirm your goal and abilities, you become more motivated to take action. Because what it does, it provides a mental boost that propels you to step out of your comfort zone and pursue your aspirations with determination. Y'all think about that for a minute. It allows you to replace your negative self talk with positive self talk. And what that then does, it silences the inner critic. Y'all, we are the worst critic of our own selves. We were quick to criticize ourselves. So when you focus on your potential and your achievement, you build a more positive self image that enhances your overall confidence because that's what you want to do. You want to build your overall confidence. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to practice saying some positive words to yourself that you've created that are tied to your goals. Okay? Affirmation can help you reduce anxiety and improve your well-being because they calm your mind. Whenever I'm struggling or whenever I have a challenge, I have affirmations that I repeat to myself. I am confident. I am capable, right? By focusing on these positive statements, you can reduce the impact of your anxious thoughts and create a sense of peace and reassurance within yourself. It allows you to reduce your negative thought patterns. You disrupt negative thought loops that contribute to your anxiety because you are then going to consciously choose positive statements. You can redirect your thoughts away from your worry and your fears. So, affirmations are powerful. They're so powerful. They enhance your emotional resilience because they help you to foster a sense of control. They help you to build a sense of control over your thoughts and your feelings. And what happens with this empowerment is it helps you to handle stress more effectively, thereby maintaining or helping you to maintain a balanced emotional state. One of the things that we had to teach our son when he was much younger, like I stated, was these positive affirmations. Right now, no one can shake his confidence. Nobody can shake his confidence because I am confident is one of his words of affirmation. And the way we started him out was when he was much younger, we started with simple words like, I am kind, I am intelligent. What are the other words that we used? I am amazing, right? I am amazing was one of his words. Then I bought him a book called The Wondrous World of Zayden. It was a personalized book, and he picked the word wondrous and he added it to his words of affirmation. That's another thing. So your words of affirmation can change depending upon your situation. Just because you've crafted a set of words today, it doesn't mean it can't change. Based upon your particular situation, you can change your words of affirmation. Words of affirmation, you can create them to fit a situation, whatever situation you find yourself. Another thing that I wanted to say about words of affirmation is this. The quickest way for you to start creating words of affirmation is to remove the word can't, that is CAN apostrophe T, from your vocabulary. Replace that can't with yet. So, for example, when I first started doing social media stuff, I was asked to do an assignment. I was asked to go on TikTok and do something on TikTok. And I remember telling the individual that gave me this, I was like, I don't know how to do TikTok. I'm going on TikTok for what? But then I remember my word of affirmation. So for that particular assignment, I kept telling myself, I cannot do it yet. So I just tagged the yet at the back of it. And I taught myself how to record on TikTok, how to download my videos. Now, it was a little painful, but here's the thing about words of affirmation and moving you into action. The more you do it, the better you then get at it, right? Because then you become more confident. I am more confident in front of the camera. I can go live on Facebook and talk to people. That was one of the challenges I had. So at the time that I faced those challenges, I always would say, I can't do it yet. And then I would go on university of or is it YouTube college and go learn what I needed to learn in order to be able to do it. And always know that practice makes permanence, not necessarily perfect. It makes permanence because here's the thing: the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. I mean, it's the law of repetition. You're just going to get better at it. And another thing was, I used to always felt like I didn't belong in certain rooms. People call that the imposter syndrome. I suffer from that quite a bit. And I felt like I didn't belong in those rooms. I don't even know why. But I started using my affirmations. And for that particular situation, my affirmations were, I belong. I belong, right? I belong in these rooms. I belong at this table. I am worthy of success. I am capable of achieving my goals. And over time, what I noticed was a huge shift in my confidence and how I showed up in the world. So, here are a few ones that I want you to repeat after me today. I am confident and capable. I trust myself to make the right decisions. I am worthy of success and happiness. So what you can do with these statements is you could either type them up on a piece of paper, you could write them on sticky notes and place them on your mirror, place them someplace where you can look at them every day when you wake up. That's important. Or while you're brushing your teeth at night, you could look at these words and repeat them to yourself to continue to help you to build your self-confidence. So, here is your assignment. I want you to pick one affirmation, just one, that resonates with you and align with your goal. And I want you to repeat it daily, especially when you need a confidence boost. The more you practice, the stronger your belief in yourself will become. So let me repeat what your assignment is. I want you to pick one affirmation from the three that I've given you, or you can create your own. I would really like for you to create your own. And let me repeat those. I am confident and capable. I trust myself to make the right decisions. I am worthy of success and happiness. So I want you to pick one of these three, out of one of these three, for starters, and I want you to repeat it daily. If none of these three work for you, feel free to create your own and repeat it daily. Write it on a post-it note, type it out if you want to, put it on your mirror. Make multiple copies and paste them around your home so that when you need a confidence boost, you can just repeat these words to yourself. Because the more you practice, the stronger your belief in yourself is going to be. So I want you to remember that affirmations they're just more than words. They're a powerful way for you to shift your mindset as you continue to take actions towards your dreams. Who's your who? Who is your person? Who do you currently have in your circle today that can support your goal? The goal. What type of friends do you have around you right now as we speak? Or do you have friends that encourage you and hold you accountable for your actions? Or do you have friends that encourage you to make bad decisions and support you in bad decisions? These are the questions that I want you to ponder for today's episode. Today, we are going to be talking about how we cultivate meaningful connections. So it's just not cultivating connections, we're cultivating meaningful connections. That's why I asked you those questions earlier. Because whoever you're connected to either hinders you or grows you. So I want you to pay attention to that. Okay. Why is it important that we build meaningful connections, or we call them relationships? These connections become our community. And of course, you can find all about all of this in my book, Living with Grace, available on Amazon. Why is this important? Because these connections, these relationships, they are crucial for your personal as well as your professional growth. Whether it's family, it's friends, or with your mentors, the people that connect you, that they can support you. They challenge you, they hold you accountable, and these people help you grow. This is why it's important for us to have meaningful connections. More importantly, meaningful connections support your social and academic well being. They allow you to become academically successful because connections are allowing you to connect with your classmates, your teachers, your principals, assistant principals, and they lead to more success. They give you access to more resources. It's a way for you to build a network with people that either will help you now or help you in the future. It's a way for you to be exposed to opportunities. Especially in your schools, career guidance is important. And oftentimes, you get that through building meaningful connections. Meaningful connections are great for your personal growth and your development. You need people in your corner that will help you build your self confidence. You need people in your corner that will support your goals. You need people in your corner that will tell you when you are wrong. You need people in your corner that would encourage you and expand your perspective. And this leads to a broader understanding of the world. You need all of these people to be in your corner. The most important thing about building meaningful connections, and why is this is so important, and is one of the tenets of the 5 principles, is this: you can build lasting friendships, and these lasting friendships end up becoming a part of your broader personal network or your professional network, right? So connections are very important. Communities are very important. So let me tell you a personal story. I don't know if I ever told you at the beginning of this. I used to be a teacher. I taught science for 13 years, and then I moved on to my next career as a high school assistant principal. While I was a science teacher, I had a student who wanted to attend Spelman College, which is the college I graduated from. And she asked me for a letter of recommendation. Based on our relationship, of course, I granted her the letter of recommendation. I wrote the letter of recommendation, and she was able to attend Spelman. And she stayed in touch with me. Once again, connections, right? Well, a year into her journey at Spelman College, she sent me an email asking if I knew anyone who could hire her because she needed a job on campus. I said, of course I do. So I reached out to one of my former college professors, because prior to me becoming a science teacher, I also worked at Spelman College as a laboratory technician. So I built relationships and connections with the professors there. So I just simply wrote a quick short email to one of the professors that I knew that still worked at Spelman College. And it was along the lines of, hey, listen, dear Dr. So and so, this student is, let's call her Sarah. Sarah is a former student, a student of mine at this high school, and she's looking for a job. If you have an opening, please let her know. Here's her email, here's her telephone number, and I connected the two of them. Guess what? The professor did have an opening, and he hired her. Connections. Oftentimes, it kills me when students don't think of your teachers as part of your community. You see your teachers as, oh, they're just teachers. But do you know who they're connected to outside of the four walls of the building? You don't even know. One of my son's teachers' sister works at Google, and she reached out to her sister. Her sister did a virtual career day. This was during COVID. And she talked to them about Google and all of that good stuff. She asked the students a question, and my son raised up his hand and he got the question correct. He sent my baby at, well, how old was Zayden? At 9 years old, swag from Google. My son was so tripped. Connection. Because guess what we now have as part of our community? The former fourth grade teacher whose sister works at Google. Connections. Let's talk about how we build meaningful connections. But before I go there, young people, if you have a friend and all that friend wants to do is encourage you to cut class, be disrespectful, don't do your homework, that person don't need to be connected to you any longer. Okay, you need to go ahead and sever that relationship because that relationship is not going to take you anywhere. The number of times that trouble has happened when I was an assistant principal or when I was a teacher and students have gotten in trouble based on the company that they kept is mind boggling. It's mind boggling. So, this is very important. Look at your circle. I want you to vet your circle. Who's in your circle right now as we speak that all they know how to do is encourage you to do bad stuff? They don't need to be in your circle. They do not need to be in your circle. You need to remove yourself from them because the only thing that's going to happen with those kinds of people is that they're going to get you in trouble. They're going to get you in trouble. And then that ends up taking your focus off of your goal. Remember your goal? Take out your journal right now or your phone notes. Take it out. Look at your goal. Who's in your circle that can connect you to achieving your goal? Now, let's talk about how we build meaningful connections. Number one, be authentic. People are drawn to your authenticity. Don't try to be somebody you're not just because you're trying to fit in. Do you know how many students get in trouble because they're trying to fit in somewhere? Don't try to fit in. Those people are not your people. Okay? Number two, be a good listener. We build the best relationships and connections on active listening. Truly listen to somebody and be interested in what they're saying. Show interest in what others are doing and make them feel heard. Number three, set boundaries. Remember the people I said that are in your circle that may not be doing what they're supposed to be doing? Yeah, those people. Set boundaries with them. Oh, Jay, let's go. We don't even want to go to Miss Kemi's class today. Yeah, I'm going to class. You could do whatever you want. That's how you set boundaries. Know when to say no to people. No is a whole complete sentence. What I want you to do, if you take nothing else out of today's lesson, prioritize yourself, your goal, your future. Prioritize your goal and your future. Don't let nobody come on and take your focus of your focus because you're trying to fit in with them. Now, how do you find your people? I thought you never asked. Get involved in activities on your middle school campus, high school campus that aligns with your interest. It's a great way for you to meet other people just like you and you become a part of a community. So do you like to play sports? Those people become a member of your community. Do you like to read? Join a reading bulb. Start a reading club. Or is it called book club? Start a book club. Find a teacher that will be willing to sponsor you guys. And even if there's no teacher to sponsor, do you know you can start your own virtual book club? And you guys just meet on Zoom. Zoom is free for 45 minutes. Get one of your parents to create you a Zoom account. Okay? Participate in events and workshops. Attend social, cultural, academic events on your school's campus to connect with others and explore new interests. Engage in class. Answer questions. Participate actively. Engage with your peers in class. Collaborate with your peers in class. Seek mentorship from other people. Your goal, look at your goal. Who can you find to mentor you? Do you want to become a medical doctor? Go to your area. If there is a family clinic or a doctor's office, ask them if they will take you on as an intern. Maybe you go there once a week. So you shadow them. Do you want to become a dentist? Do you want to become a veterinarian? That's what you do. Find the people that are already in your profession and ask for them to mentor you. Because what that does, it holds you accountable. It holds you accountable. Volunteer and give back. Volunteering is one of the biggest ways you can contribute to your community, and it provides opportunities for you to meet other people and make a positive impact. So very quickly, how do you find your who? One, join clubs and organizations on your school's campus. Two, participate in events and workshops. Three, engage in class. Four, find mentorship in your community. Five, volunteer and give back. So here's what I want you to do today. Take a look at your goal. Now, write down the names of everyone you can think of that can support you on that journey. Don't leave out your teachers. Do not leave out your teachers. Now that you have your list, I want you to either call these people or text them or send them an email and tell them about your goal and ask for their assistance to mentor and support you. What does this do for you? It holds you accountable and it helps you to focus on your focus. So then all of the other pieces of talk becomes a big distraction that you don't want. So I want you to take a moment and do that for me today. Are your relationships right now, are they uplifting? If they're not, take a moment to reassess who you're spending your time with. Time is valuable. Once time is gone, you never get it back. Time is a very, very valuable commodity. Okay. So I want to leave you with this quote. Building connections in life is not just about networking. We grown people call it networking. It's about creating a community that inspires you, supports you, and propels you towards your dreams. In previous episodes, I delved deeper into the power of gratitude and why gratitude is so important for you to practice for your daily life. I've also delved deep into the power of reflection, as well as how you create meaningful affirmations that help you to grow. Last episode, I talked about meaningful connections. So today, we are going to delve deep into empathy. Now, what is empathy? So let's talk about empathy. You have your journal, or have you opened your notes page on your phone? Now we're going to tackle empathy and how empathy is going to allow you or grow you towards your goal. Y'all ready? So let's talk about empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of others. It simply means that you want to be able to kind of see where others are coming from. So, and that starts with you listening to somebody. You're not just hearing the words that are coming out of their mouth, but you truly, truly want to understand the message behind the words that are coming out of their mouth. I just think that a lot of issues in this world could be solved by people truly, truly listening to each other. But that's a story for another day. That's another soapbox entirely. So, young people, why is empathy so important? Why is this one of my 5 key principles? First, empathy allows you to create an inclusive atmosphere where individuals from various backgrounds feel valued and respected, especially if you live in a space where it's multicultural, that people from other countries, other continents are around you. Because what it then does, it encourages you to appreciate and celebrate the differences that will then eventually lead to a more welcoming and supportive community. Let's face it, the United States is a melting pot. It's a melting pot of all cultures from all over the place. That's number one. Number two, empathy helps you to improve your communication because what it does, it encourages you to actively listen to other people and then forces that open dialogue, or it encourages open dialogue. It allows you to engage in meaningful conversations where you are able to understand each person's diverse viewpoints. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. It just means that you understand where they're coming from. And this is a great way for you to be able to resolve conflict because when you're listening to each other without judgment and just listening to understand, conflicts are easier to resolve. Empathy allows you to build stronger relationships. It is a foundation for building strong, genuine relationships. Especially for those of you who are maybe graduating from high school right now and you're moving on to a post-secondary space, right? You're going to meet people that come from all different walks of life. How do you navigate the differences? Well, empathy is one of the ways you can do that because it allows you to be able to connect on a deeper level with other people. And that leads you to form friendships and support networks. Because remember, last time I talked about how important your connections and your network is, right? So empathy allows you to form those relationships, those friendships, and to create your support network. And that eventually enhances your post-secondary experience, be it at work or be it in a college, or you're going to the Job Corps, or you're going into service. This is a skill that you need. Empathy promotes collaboration. So that's number 4. It allows you to want to team up with people, right? It facilitates teamwork by encouraging individuals to appreciate each other's contribution and work together towards a common goal. Because your viewpoint may not always be the right viewpoint. So what's to say that somebody else's viewpoint is not as valuable as yours, right? And I'm a great believer that teamwork always makes the dream work. I know it sounds cliche. However, teamwork always makes the dream work. When each person comes with their different viewpoints, their talents, and their skill, oh my God, we become unstoppable as a team. Finally, empathy encourages personal growth. It helps you to grow personally by broadening your understanding of the world. And empathy also helps you to challenge your own assumptions about people. Can you imagine if you've always heard a certain thing about a certain group of people, and then you meet someone, and then you truly listen and you understand them? How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Another thing that empathy does for you, before I close out why empathy is so important, is empathy prepares you for global citizenship. Because here's the thing, our world is so interconnected. It's so interconnected that empathy then becomes a crucial skill in order for you to build your global citizenship. Okay? And then finally, it helps you to reduce your prejudice as well as your stereotypes. It breaks down barriers and it encourages you to see beyond the stereotypes. So these are the reasons why empathy is so important. Now, how do you practice empathy? Because the same way you have to practice your gratitude muscle, the same way you have to practice your self-reflection and daily affirmations and building meaningful connections, you also want to be able to grow your empathy muscle. Start first with being an active listener. So you want to truly focus on understanding what the other person is saying without interrupting, without jumping to conclusions. Y'all, this is hard because I'm a talker, right? I'm a talker. Secondly, I want you to be open-minded. Be willing to consider the perspective of other people that are different from your own and learn from their diverse experiences. We listen, we don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. Have a non-judgmental attitude. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, just truly listen to people and without judgment. If you're going to respond, make sure your response is compassionate. Offer support and understanding when others share their feelings or their experiences. We are very quick to dismiss other people's experiences that are not similar to ours. That's why empathy is so important. Because when you're practicing empathy, you're not quick to dismiss other people's experiences. You're just listening with compassion. You're listening without judgment. And finally, take some time to reflect on your own biases and consider how you can be more empathetic in your interactions. So let's go back to your goal. Let's go back to your goal. How do you think empathy is going to help you achieve your goal? That means, remember those connections that you made? How are you listening to those people in your network? with empathy as they advise you on how to achieve your goal and what your next steps are. So that's important for you. So I used to think that I was a great listener, right? Wrong. Until someone told me, you're hearing me, but you're not listening. I was like, "Er?" Y'all, I was so offended. I said, what do you mean? I'm hearing you, but I'm not listening. And so this person started to tell me how I just was quick to respond. I said, oh, you're right. See, the thing about practicing active listening is a skill that you have to keep practicing over and over and over and over. Like it really just doesn't come like that. Like it doesn't come naturally. For me as a talker, y'all, I am a talker. For me as a talker, practice active listening is a skill that I've had to build over the years. And while I am talking about empathy, I also want to say this to you. Show yourself some empathy. We are our own worst critic. Show yourself some empathy. I know I covered this in affirmations. I covered this in reflections. Y'all show yourself some empathy. Show yourself some empathy. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So when that individual told me that I was, I could hear them, but I was not listening, y'all, that changed everything for me. It changed everything for me. So now when I talk to people or when people are talking to me, I have learned to be quiet and just listen. Listen to hear what they're saying. And another way that I practice active listening, and you could try this, is repeating what the person has told you to the person. So, for example, if someone, let's say, for example, a student would come to me and say something like, so Mr. So and so and I don't get along, and then he said this, and then this is what happened in the classroom, and now I'm upset, and then he told me to get out of the classroom. So I would listen to the student, and then I would repeat what I've just heard. So I would say something like, okay, so here's what I'm hearing you say. You just stated that you and, let's say the teacher's name is Mr. Smith. You just said that you and Mr. Smith, you don't get along. And today, when you came into the class, something happened and Mr. Smith told you to leave the classroom. Is that what I heard? You see, what I have just done is told the person that I am talking to or who was talking to me that I was actually listening. And because the way my brain is set up, sometimes I forget things. So sometimes when people are talking to me, I would take notes and I will always tell the person, I am listening to you, but I'm taking notes so that I don't forget anything that you're saying to me. So you could do that. You could do that, but just let them know. So here are some actionable tips that I want to give to you today. I want to leave you with this. When you're practicing active listening, you want to put away any distractions. You want to make eye contact with the people, and you want to nod to show the people that you're engaged. Young people, make eye contact when you're talking to people. If you're going to take notes, let them know that you're taking notes, but once in a while, glance up and pay attention to them. Number two, ask clarifying questions. So if you're not sure what somebody means, just ask them, okay? Because it shows that you care about understanding what they're saying. And like I already stated, repeat back what you heard in your own words to confirm that you're understanding it. I promise you it helps a lot. So now, here is your work for today. Think about a recent conversation. Were you truly present or were you distracted? How can you improve your listening skills in the future? And I would like to close with this. Empathy begins with listening. Empathy begins with listening. And listening is a skill that we can all improve upon. So I'm going to encourage you to start practicing it today. You will be so amazed at how much it depends your relationship. And I'd like to leave you with this quote. In life, empathy bridges differences and fosters a community where diverse perspectives are valued and collaboration thrives. This has been the Gracefully Growing podcast with Dr. Kemi. I hope that this past few weeks on this journey with me, that you have been able to learn how to show gratitude, be self reflective, create and practice your daily affirmations, and create meaningful connections, as well as learn how to show empathy to others and as you listen attentively to them. Continue on this journey with me as we all gracefully grow together. And I will see you next week. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Gracefully Growing. Thank you so much for tuning in and growing with me. Remember, living with grace means showing gratitude, taking the time for reflection, speaking powerful affirmations, building strong connections, and practicing daily empathy with yourself and others. If today's episode gave you something to think about, inspired you, or made you smile, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also download today's free resource in the show notes and join our gracefully growing community on social media for more tools, encouragement, and real talk. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, keep growing, and most of all, keep living with grace. I am Dr. Kemi. See you next week.